What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Risky Ryan Trades. It's the end of the week. We have a lot to talk about. First things first, you can see from the title of this video or the thumbnail, we do have a triple top potentially forming. So we're going to talk about that, whether we should be going short, whether we should be going long, what should we be doing, what levels should we be looking at on the S&P 500. We're also going to be going over all the major indexes, so SPY, QQQ, Russell, semiconductors, technology. We're also going to look at the Magnificent Seven, including NVDA. We're also going to be going over some other major stocks that I have my eyes on: Netflix, United Healthcare, Eli Lilly, Costco, Spotify, Palantir, SOFI, Progressive, 20-year Treasury, TLT, MasterCard, Shark Ninja, Lockheed Martin, DoorDash, which is a new position of mine. And then we're going to be going over crypto. So we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be looking at the weekly charts. We're going to be looking at the Ichimoku analysis. We're going to be looking at GAN levels. So I do have timestamps below. At least that's the plan. I hope I don't mess this up. But before we dive in, here's my disclaimer. Trading is risky. The content in this video is not financial advice. It is my opinion only. But I do hope that you learned something. And if you could do me a huge favor and smash that like button, it would be greatly appreciated. So quick overview here. We got the Dow up 0.72, NASDAQ's up 0.65, S&P's up about 0.5%, and the Russell, whoa, 2.47%. Looks like the market is all ready for that rate cut. And they're thinking maybe we get 0.5 point. I really don't think we're going to have 0.5 point. I hope we do. I think it's the right thing to do. But the Russell's trading, to me, it looks like as if we're going to get 0.5 point. So this trade right here could be a setup for disappointment. So I'm not chasing this at the moment. But if you do get that 0.5 point, small cap summer, let it commence a little bit late. Just taking a quick look at the heat map. You can see a lot of green across the board. The magnificent stocks are kind of lagging, except for Microsoft seems to be getting some love finally. Amazon had a really big day yesterday, so it was just kind of consolidating today. Same with Meta. So not really too concerning that these aren't having big days. And then Google's kind of the opposite. In my opinion, this is kind of like a dead cat bounce, but I could be proven wrong. 150 was kind of my smart place to buy, and I think it did tap it. Eli Lilly recovered and then it traded down. It's kind of in purgatory right now. United Healthcare had a really strong day. So we're going to be drilling deeper into many of these names and more. So let's start off with the SPY. So the S&P 500, as you can see, we do have this triple top forming right here. However, you can see we are in the arc, comfortably in the arc. Now, the nature of the arc is that it curves down, meaning that we could come all the way down to, 528 and still be in the arc. So it's great to get inside of it, especially if it's a better arc than what you're looking at. But either way, it kind of limits our downside to some degree in the near term. Also, some important things to look at. You can see we fell out of the Ichimoku cloud and then tapped Kijun-sen and then just shot back up. We closed over Tenkan-sen 2 days ago. That was kind of your buy signal there. And then once we closed over that, that was kind of like another buy signal. Now we got to get up and over this 565 level and create a new high. We create a new high, and you could see this market, like what happened here, you could see it happen again. And actually, before we dive into the weekly chart and I show you how that ended, you can see we are levitating over this 10-day moving average. The last time we did something like that, we had this excellent, like the great recovery, the great yen bounce. I think I'm going to call it that, the great yen bounce. So you could see things like gap ups and stuff form if we can get over this with some level of strength. Speaking of strength, you do have the RSI over 50. It's actually at 58.9, like right around there. And you do have a MACD crossover that executed today. Got a little bit of a little bit of green there. That doesn't mean that it's only up from here. I mean, you could bounce around in this range before breaking out, but I think we already got that out of our system. This could happen fast. I do. So if you can't tell from my tone, I am more bullish than I was a few days ago, or from last week's video. Last week I thought the first 2 weeks were going to be crap, and then we were going to bounce up. Now it's starting to look like we might have a very strong week and then retrace maybe back down to these levels, before October. I could totally see that happening, where we get a breakout and then it brings us right back to these all-time highs and we go, oh no, now what? So that will remain to be seen. But at the moment, I like what I see. This is a bicycle as far as the Ichimoku is concerned. So the SPY is looking really excellent. And yeah, once again, 565, we really got to break through that level. And we have a major levels of support sitting right here at about 550. We have a bunch of moving averages holding us there. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing, and September could end up surprising us. All right, let's move on to the Qs. Q. Actually, before we do that, let's look at the weekly. I want to show you the weekly on this bad boy, because it's important to take a look at. And the reason why I'm so bullish on the S&P, you have, I don't know if this technically counts as a bullish engulfing, but you know what, I'll call it that. And you have it on much higher volume, like much higher volume. So this is a strong move and a firm rejection of the price action of last week. So that just tells me, like, okay, yeah, we might be in for our next leg higher. So that's how I see it. That is how I see it. Okay, so onto the Qs. Now, I actually like the Qs for a long-term investment. Like if you're adding to a position, like I like this better because there's further distance away from the all-time highs, and typically they trade together. The NASDAQ has a higher beta, so it goes down more when it goes down, it goes up more when it goes up, and for whatever reason, it hasn't gone up more as the S&P 500 has gone up, meaning that eventually it will catch up to it. And so I feel like there's a better risk reward, so to say, on this one, because it'll eventually cross back up and over, and you're going to get a greater percentage return. At the same time, you do have a greater risk with the, it's just a more volatile index. But my name's Risky Ryan, and that's how I roll. But yeah, you can see kind of the same chart action here. Now, for this, for it to get back up to the all-time highs, which, if the S&P 500 recaptures the all-time highs and goes above it, you could see the NASDAQ like fly high, and that's 4.8%. 5% to like break those highs, and that would take us next week to like this GAN level, and probably I wouldn't be surprised if we like shoot up to that. So we could see a really strong week out of the NASDAQ, and we had a really strong week out of the NASDAQ this week. You could see a ton of volume right there. And if I go to the daily, let's go to the daily on this thing. So yeah, we have Tenkan-sen over Kijun-sen, we have Chiku span over price, and if I go to my charts, yeah, on the daily, the cloud is not crossed over yet, but look at all these levels of resistance we just plowed right through, and we popped the parabolic SAR yesterday, so I'm really liking the NASDAQ. We got the MACD crossover just like we got with the SPY. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing. We got to break 485, and then we could gap fill this 487 to 492 level. So yeah, we could see pretty strong action out of this. I really do think that we're gonna get like a strong week next week, but I could be wrong. I totally could be wrong. This could come right back through the cloud, but I kind of doubt it. Usually you get more of an upswing. You're going to get multiple days of upswing once you pop the parabolic SAR. It might bounce in these levels, but when you break through all of these levels of resistance, they become support. So you're going to have support at 472. You're going to have support 470 and 468. And 468 is going to be a strong level of support, in my opinion, because you have the 10-day and you have the, what is this? Gosh, one sec. Sorry. You got the 50-day. They're sitting right here at 468. So if this comes back down, I suspect, and these might, in a couple days, they might actually be up to this 469, 470 level. So if we have some retracement, I wouldn't panic. You have support at those levels. So yeah, I like the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the Russell 2000. So we have a gap here, and this is what worries me. I think we could get, you know, like a big run up into, so that's already on Tuesday. So we could get a big run up, and that'll be the catalyst potentially that sends us to new heights or sends us crashing down. Be on the lookout. You know, if the Russell trades high, and then we get to the 17th, and we get our rate cut, this could come all the way back down and gap fill this. Gaps typically fill. So that is what I'm worried about. That's why I'm not chasing this. You might be able to find some opportunities like intraday, but I would not be trying to swing trade this thing. I would suspect we could get another bring down to this 211 level at this GAN level. At that point, though, I might consider taking, you know, buying a little bit right there, because there's proven support. You know, if you get a gap fill, I think you got to buy it, because unless there's like bad data or something that comes out, they're gonna roll. You know, like the smalls. You know, once you get that you know, the interest rate cut, the smalls are gonna roll. So let's take a look at the weekly here. Yeah, I don't like that gap up. I don't like it at all. Gaps typically close. And we did not get a bullish engulfing out of the Russell. Almost, but not quite. So yeah, jury's out on this one. I think a better play is to pick up small cap stocks, that individual stocks that look good, that you like. One of my favorites is SOFI. I think that's a small cap stock, pretty sure. At these levels, we'll take a look at SOFI later, but at these levels, maybe you want to wait for a better price potentially. All right, let's take a look at semiconductors. SMH. I like to use SMH because it has a better expense ratio than the stocks. Same kind of thing we have going on here with the Russell that we have in semiconductors. So we don't have a bullish engulfing, but it's a strong look. We do have some overhead resistance at about 240. We have really good volume though, so we like that, and we're going to have some decent support at 226. And that's where the Tenkan-sen is. So the Tenkan-sen crossed underneath the Kijun-sen. So Ichimoku wise, this is looking kind of rough. And for it to, like, it's going to have to get up and over 242. It's going to be very hard for it to do. And we do have this on declining daily volume. So semiconductors, I don't know. Jury's out on them. We could have another retest of like 227 before we get out of the woods. Let's take a look at my chart and see. So, okay. Yeah, we're in the cloud and we're up and over the 50-day and the 10-day. So we do have some institutional support coming in. So I think rate cuts are really going to be the thing that sends this one way or the other. You do have a nice MACD crossover on the daily. On the weekly, it's still kind of like, eh. RSI's over 50. So yeah, I would not call this a buy just yet. We do have 231 is a Fibonacci level of support. I would almost say like maybe wait for it to pop the parabolic SAR on the weekly and then come back down to retest the GAN level at 238, and then I would call it safe, because then you have Fibonacci and some GAN levels to kind of hold you with support. All right, let's take a look at technology. XLK. I actually prefer VGT for the same reasons. All right, cool. So 565 is a strong level of support. And man, I should have freaking bought down here. I was thinking about it, and man, did I miss a lot? Oh my gosh. Oh, 6%. That hurts me deep down in my bones. It hurts me a lot. But I did pick up SOFI, which I got an even greater return. So, you know, I guess I feel okay. Looking at the weekly, though, we do have kind of like a bullish engulfing happening there. And look at that. Perfect. Yeah, I should have bought some down here. Perfect hold of the GAN angle. So these GANs are really important. Next level of resistance, we're going to run into 579. And I just want to look, I'll look at XLK for the XLKers out there. Looks even better here. You got major resistance at like 225 that we're going to contend with, which is only, you know, 1.83% away. Once you get past that, though, you know, maybe that's your buy point, and you try to get this 4% from that to the all-time high. So Tech is staging a comeback. It's pretty clear. And yeah, the Parabox are. So like on VGT, I wouldn't buy it yet. I would wait to pop this, and which we're probably gonna do. We're probably gonna do it. We kissed it, and now we're gonna kiss it again. Like, we're getting close, you know what I mean? And we're over all of the moving averages. Ichimoku says yes. So, you know, this fib level's at 574, call it 575. And so is the Parabolic SAR, that's at 577. So, I mean, if we get a nice strong price action day, we'll probably come back down to retest this fib level, I would suspect, before moving higher. And that's a weekly Parabolic SAR level. If you go to the daily, we're already through it. So yeah, tech is looking great. It really is. Let's drill deeper into that and look at Microsoft. Microsoft got through its GAN level and up and over Tengen-sen and Kijun-sen and all that good stuff on the weekly anyways. They're crossed over on the weekly, which isn't good. But on the daily, we're through the cloud. We got through this 422 level. We closed over the cloud. All the sun's shining rainbows, but we do have more levels of resistance, 433 and again at 440. But if you see some strong push through, that means the market is looking very solid. But yeah, it looks like we've confirmed 421, 422. So, and like we have all these other moving averages down here. I mean, the risk reward, you know, you would place a stop loss level like maybe like 5% below. And, you know, if we reclaim all-time highs, that's a 8%, 9%. So that's almost a 2-to-1. So that's a good trade opportunity there. I wouldn't be surprised though if we like retest the cloud. Like we might come down, retest the cloud, or maybe a moving average. But it looks like it's on a collision course with 433. So yeah, Microsoft looks good. Let's just look at the weekly one more time here. Yeah, so yeah, I like what I'm seeing. Microsoft is coming back alive. Good for Microsoft. All right, now let's take a look at Apple. Okay, weeklies. We got a bullish Harami and price rejection down here in this underneath 220 level. So 220 is holding very strong. So it looks like we had to come back down and tap the weekly Tengen-sen before we could potentially maybe move up and over this GAN angle. And looking at the daily, I don't know where did my Ichimoku go on the daily? We'll look at my chart, but yeah, we have a lot of good price rejection away from this level right here. Call it like 220-ish. So like we couldn't close any candles below 220, it looks like. Maybe this one a little bit, but that seems to be a safe zone. 220, it's a good supply area. 215 to 220. So if you're looking to buy some Apple, potentially that could be a spot where you could kind of grab some shares. You know, we might even see a tap at like 218.50 for the fib angle. And let's see here, weekly. All right, let's take a look at my charts. Let's just get in this a little bit more for Apple. Ooh, yeah, that tells another story, don't it? So we closed under Tengensen today, but we did hold the 50 and the 10-day. So if we can get back up and over the Tengensen, it's going to be looking a lot better. We do have a bullish cloud and everything, so that would confirm the Ichimoku. And then as time progresses, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 days for the Ichimoku to hold up, we're going to have to go towards all-time highs. So keep an eye on Apple next week. If we get some strong strength out of Apple, you could see like a pretty decent move and it try to contend with the all-time highs. And the weekly, we're still good on the Ichimoku. And the 10-week, we tried to close over it today, but we couldn't quite. We do have like a MACD situation happening here on the weekly, but that could pass. You know, it's not like it's a guarantee that once it curls over, it's always going to cross. So cool. Apple, keep your eye on it. It's a little bit of softness, but there could be an opportunity there for sure. All right, let's take a look at Meta. Meta was looking strong. Remember when this particular quarter, Meta was a leader? And take a look at that. We closed over the GAN level. 522.61 is where that GAN level is. We're right back there. We had a moment for sure. And then we pushed right through the arc, tapped the arc, and now we're back above this GAN level. I think you're looking at your leader right here. I really do think that Meta is going to tell you first if this thing is going to pan out. Like if the market's really going to, because if Meta breaks all-time highs again, get ready, you know, get ready for the rest of the market to move higher. That's my personal opinion. And you can see it's got to do it soon. Like on the weekly, it only has a couple more weeks to get over these levels right here for the Ichimoku to stay proper. Let's take a look at the daily. Get in there a little bit more. Yeah, so we closed 2 days over. We do have a Kijinsen crossing, you know, Tengensen cross. That's not good. Let's take a look at my charts here. Yeah, so we got a fib level here of 572. That's really like what we need to get up and over. And then we're off to the races, you guys. I mean, then we're talking 872. We're talking big numbers. And I know that Meta had a crazy year. It could close out the year very strong too. I don't see why it can't. PE ratio is not too, you know, astronomical on it. The daily, we're about to pop the parabolic star on this thing. So that could be your buy indicator. You know, we get price above 528 and that would probably send this thing flying. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing out of Meta. That is, and we got a MACD crossover. So now we did have a small gap right here, 515, which is a little concerning, but not too concerning. So like if you were to initiate a trade, for instance, you know, what I would do is I would maybe set like a stop loss. Here, let's see. I would set a stop loss. Like if it were to go back into the arc, like that would probably be bad. So like a 4% stop loss down at like 503. It might even tap 500. So like, you know, you could even do a tighter stop loss. Just say like, I don't want to be along for the ride if the gap closes. Call it 515. But yeah, I mean, we were talking about 870 something. I mean, that's the next fib level. But like, even if you're not that lofty of a goal, you got a 20% run to the next GAN level. So yeah, Meta looks strong. That's kind of your leader, in my opinion. You want to take a close look at that. Next up, we're going to look at Amazon. Amazon broke out, or it's in the process, in my opinion, of trying for that 200 again. We had a big day where it got over. Actually, it was like right here. Once we got over 177 and we started cruising, those are important levels. Like this area right here, that's an important level, and we got right through it. And if we take a look at Heikin-Ashi candles, yeah, we had a red day today, but like, boom, we're in a big trend up. And I don't think we're going to stop until we hit like 192, something like that. Because that's where we last hit resistance, was this arc. And I think that's where we're gonna try for again. And that's, you know, that's a 2.8% move to do that. We're very far extended from Tenkan-sen though, which is a little concerning. Let's take a look at the weekly. Big weekly bar. This to me, this tells me like we're moving higher. You're going to get a higher price before you get a lower price in this candle. So we'll see if we can break through. I mean, this is a big deal. We got earnings. Earnings is a month from now. So you could see a trade up really strong into earnings. I wouldn't be surprised. Disclaimer, I did add, once we broke through these levels here, I did add at like 177 because I could see like, oh, we're moving up. Yeah, so like this area right here is where like a down cycle will go to, like 183. Let me just activate this. Let me get, should be more like this maybe, actually more like that. But yeah, things are looking good. As far as Ichimoku goes, it's buy on the daily. We have the crossover right here, bullish crossover. We got Chikou span over price. We got Tenkan-sen over Kijun-sen. All is good in the hood on the daily. And on the weekly, we are good. No. Yes. Maybe. Where's the heck is the Tenkan? This is hard for me to see with my eyeballs. Okay. Oh, no. So technically no. But we did come down, tap Tenkan-sen this week. So it's respecting Tenkan-sen. You also do have a parabolic SAR that it wants to tap. So it looks like we're in the preliminary stages of the next upswing for Amazon, in my humble opinion. Google, let's talk about Google. So I'm just getting my timestamps here for you guys. Okay, so Google, I don't like Google. I'm biased, sorry. But that's promising. So, okay, so it respected the arc. We closed above the arc. So maybe this is a sign of the bottom here. It might not be bad for a swing trade. So, and you do have, yeah, you have nearby support. Let's go on to a daily. Just look at the support here real quick. You have a tiny gap right here, which you don't love. But the arc sits right here, like 156. And so it might try for this GAN level again. You might get a nice trade, nice little 7% move up to 170. Why are we hiding the indicators on this? Because I get a weekly Ichimoku. Weird. Very weird. Okay, so yeah, but like nothing about this Ichimoku looks good on the weekly or the daily, and so I don't know. I don't like it on this one, but 170 should be your price target. I don't see it just blasting through 170 if we get a nice upswing. So, you know, And let's see here on a daily. You know, if you initiated a trade right here, I'd be holding. Maybe set your stop loss right here and don't stick with it for the next leg down. If you get a price at 140, I might have to buy it. Might just freaking have to, because like how bad could it really get for Google? That'd be ridiculous. But it's kind of in a bear market of its own. You have lower lows and lower highs. And we could double top once we hit this again, if we hit this again. So yeah, I don't like Google. I'm not going to dive too much more into it. NVDA, the great recovery of NVIDIA is underway. It looks like the overall semiconductors, like we talked about, you know, remains to be seen. But we popped right to this GAN level that sits at about 119, 120. We're in the arc, which is great news, but we really have to just push above like 121, because not only do you have a GAN level at 120, but you're also going to see here that we have, oh, you know what? Yeah, the 120 is important. 121 is kind of a level I've watched a lot, and then 129 is the fib level, 500% fib level, long-term fib level. So, but you do have really bullish price action. And if you go to the daily, we have a bit of a MACD crossover. We popped our parabolic SAR. Seems like this GAN level right here is holding. And we just need to get certain indicators to come back to life, and you know, we'll be good to go on this name. But things are looking good for now. Obviously, Tuesday is going to be the make or break of the market. You're going to have to really pay attention. If the market loves what it sees, these names will start coming back to life, in my opinion. But yeah, let's just take a look at this GAN levels again. So, you know, 119, we're sitting right there. The next level up, 123. Then you've got this downtrend line, which is the boogeyman here, which once we get there, it's probably going to take a few days to get there, I'd imagine. 126. We get above that, and we got to hold that level. Yeah, so we do have some like, you know, you basically, are you in or are you out with this name is kind of the thing here. So it's hard to say like where a good buy zone is or where a good stop loss is. You do have the bottom of the arc sitting. You could probably use this daily candle as your stop loss if you get significantly under it. Let's take a look at Heikinashis. Those are really good for stop losses. So daily, you got 113. That's kind of rough, right? It's kind of far away, isn't it? So you got this to this. That's a, I mean, it's a 4.5%. As far as NVIDIA goes, a 4% move is really just nothing. And you do have like solid Heikinashi candles going. I would expect these Heikinashis to get a little bit smaller, you know, like because you do have a major resistance level right here. And you could see like that's what happened on the way down. So this 119 is very crucial, and we're sitting right there. So if you see a strong move up, this is what I would be looking out for. If you see a strong move up, we go up to 121, 122, and then it comes back to 119, maybe then I would buy, because then you're retesting support, and especially if the overall market is looking strong, boom, like that'd be a good buy point, I think. Okay, now let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla is, I like it. Heikinashis are obviously looking strong. On the weekly, you have green candles with smaller wicks on the bottom. Let's just go to the regular candles here. So yeah, we punched out of the cloud and all the stuff on the weekly. So as far as the weekly is concerned, things are looking pretty good. Let me just check the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly for Tesla. The daily doesn't look good, but we're about to break the parabolic SAR at 233. But on the weekly, yeah, weekly we have a buy. We're over the downtrend line. We're through the cloud, bullish cloud, Chiku span over price. Yeah, Tesla looks good, and we have a stronger, take a look at that on the MACD. It was coming down, and then we popped. So yeah, this looks good. But I've been proven wrong with this friggin' stock. It does have a mind of its own sometimes, but I like what I'm seeing with Tesla. And yeah, basically like a good breakout at 235, and we could go right back up to like 270 in a blink of an eye. Could happen. And yeah, I mean, we got higher highs, higher lows. We need to make a higher high. If we make a higher high, if we break 263, let's just take a look here and go to the daily. We could look at a potential stop loss point for this. So we break 235, we have a new high. You would set your stop loss to the previous swing down, which it actually would be this day right here. So I mean, that's a 10%. This thing moves like crazy. So position sizing, guys, it's important. You don't want to go all in on a stock. You have to set a stop loss at like 10 to like 15%. And the beauty about stocks like that, you don't have to have a very large position size to get a lot of gains, because it might go up 20%. So just always keep that in mind. But we do have a major resistance level at 245. That is our GAN. We tried to hold it last time. We're probably going to bump our head, come back down, and then push up. So right now we're right in between this range. So it's kind of a weird time to buy. So potentially like take a half a position or something if you absolutely must buy some Tesla right now. But yeah, I like what I'm seeing out of it. All right, let's take a look at Netflix, which is kind of like the honorary member of the Mag 7. And we have busted right back into the arc, kind of like what we did, but this time with a lot more strength, a lot more gusto. Ichimoku is all proper. Really, we want to break all-time highs. Breaking all-time highs, retest, and then, you know, maybe popping up again. You know, that's what we're looking for. But I would say the bottom of this candle is a good stop loss point, because then you're below Tengen-sen, you're below a couple days of price action. It looks like this like 685 level is a pretty strong level as well. I mean, yeah, it's the arc, so that's only 2.5%. That's a pretty good risk reward in my opinion, because once we get through, we're looking at a 6%. Once we're through that, off to the races. And I mean, this thing has been struggling, just struggling to get it going, you know. And we've broken through this angle multiple times, so I think a date with this angle is like in the future. You might see like bop, 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 come down, break, retest, and come back up. You could see things like that. It's not going to just be a straight line, but it's not a bad place to enter a position, I don't think. Heikinashis are obviously going to look great. Yeah, so like, yeah, 680 is a pretty decent stop loss point for this. And let's just take a look at the weekly candle. Yeah, I mean, it's good price action that I'm seeing out of Netflix. So, yeah, Netflix is looking strong. All right, we're going to go to United Healthcare. Now, this has been sort of like a safe haven. I have a decent chunk of my money in here. If you haven't watched the Perfect Portfolio video on my channel, you should take a look. It's a very interesting stock. It tends to outperform the NASDAQ while suffering smaller drawdowns. And look, I mean, we've retested the top of this arc, you know, a couple times this is a weekly as well. So, you know, we're moving higher. I bet if we look at Heikin-Ashi candles, we'll probably have like a kind of a scary candle. Yeah, but it's green still. Still green. And, you know, if we go to a daily, we have greens forming. So, and here, let me go to the regular candle. So on the daily, we didn't quite close over the angle. On the weekly, it looks like we did, but we're over Tengen-sen. Ichimoku is in order. So, you know, if you wanted to take a risk here, you know, setting your stop loss, like, this wouldn't even be bad of a risk at all. I mean, if we get under this candle, that's a 1% risk. I mean, that's, you know, and that's how I would probably do it. You know, if we get back under here, then we're coming back down. But I don't think we are. I think we just had temporary resistance here. You know, getting over this arc. There was some like tumult within the overall market. But this stock, I mean, basically it's like a risk-off stock, but it's kind of like a growth health stock at the same time. So I do like me some United Healthcare. But yeah, this 595 level, it's pretty important. And then, yeah, I mean, 585, that's going to be like a decent stop loss area, maybe a little bit higher than that, like 587. All right, let's take a look at Eli Lilly. 45, sorry, I'm doing my timestamps. Eli Lilly. Okay, Eli Lilly closing under the Tenkan-sen. We had a failed recovery, so we might be coming back down to retest the arc again. So, you know, not loving that at all. But we do have some support right here, so potentially waiting to get right here. Let's see if there's any like weekly things we can take a look at here. Yeah, so like 900 is a pretty important level. Yeah, we have a doji. So we get under 892, we're in trouble. We get above 943, we're in luck. We did make a higher high here. And we do have some support here at the 850s. I don't suspect we got this crazy move just for it to like move down. But that's just my opinion. Let's take a closer look here at Eli Lilly. Okay, so we do have some support from the 10 and the 50-day moving average. So, you know, 913. Let's take a look at some good stop loss levels for this. If I go to a Heikin-Ashi candle, yeah, like 890. 890 is kind of like, okay, get me out. And if I go to a daily, on the daily though, it looks like we're trying to get back above. I mean, we got a red candle here, but it's still like on the Heikin-Ashi, it's green with no lower wick. So if you really wanted a very tight stop loss, you could do like 919. So yeah, Eli Lilly, I mean, this whole situation, it looks like a successful retest of the arc, in my opinion, and we could be moving higher. And the reason I love this stock is because we got a 23% to take. So I like that. That was Eli Lilly. We're going to take a look at Costco now. And Costco's another stock I love. Sorry, yeah, the PE is high, but guess what? You got to pay up for good product. Just very strong movements here. We got into the arc. We have an important level here at 926. Oops. And that is as high as it got in aftermarket at one point when they announced they were going to raise the membership cost. So we're going to find some resistance here at 925. I would not be buying right there. I would want to break through in a retest, and then you buy and you kind of like, you know, maybe look at the Heikin-Ashi candles for, you know, a stop loss level. But I really do think we're probably going to get up through that. I think it's a good chance. But yeah, we're extended off the Tenkan-sen quite a bit, and on the weekly, I'm sure it's no different. But yeah, this thing's going beast mode. Beast mode. But yeah, I would not be buying this right here. I just wouldn't. It's kind of a weird no man's zone. Let's take a look at my charts. Maybe we could find like a decent entry. So we pop the parabolic SAR on the daily. Honestly, my price target would be this trend line because it goes way, way, way back, like way, way, way back, and it never got above this trend line. And this GAN angle right here is a good support zone. Let's take a look at the, so yeah, I mean, you could, we created a doji here. So if we break 924 and we have strong price action over 925, 926, remember that, that level here that I drew, I think it's like is it a fib level? I don't know where I think this is a fib level. It's a fib level. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot like 925, 926. If you see 930 and then it comes back down, it's going to be retesting support, see how it behaves there, and then kind of do what you got to do from there. Next up is Spotify. Spotify has been doing great. Oh, not Spy, Spotify. Spot. We're in the arc. Decent price action, not as much volume as I'd like to see. So could we come back down to retest 316? Absolutely. Should you buy it if it goes there? Probably. It's not financial advice, but like this thing has been holding. And yeah, I mean, it depends on what the overall market is doing, but yeah, and let's just take a look at, well, let's look at the Heikinashi candles on the weekly before I switch it up. So we do have red forming. I think it could come back down to retest 315 before moving higher, but could be wrong as well. And let's take a look at the daily here. So daily, we're moving up stronger here. And if I go to regular candles, you can see we are above the Tengen-sen. Tengen-sen is below Kijun-sen. That's not good. So, but we are kind of like in a range here. So we want to see us get above this really before it's like confirmed uptrend, or potentially like retest this angle here one more time. Let's take a look at Palantir. This one's been crushing it, right? All right, so we have strong support now. We have a GAN level that we have achieved at 3461. That's a very big deal, but we do have a gap that's kind of rough to see. Gaps usually fill. And I know how Palantir likes to shoot up and then draw down for like 4 months and then shoot up. It's like you never get up much time to like sell. So you could almost take a half a position here or something, and then if we get, you know, let's take a look at Heikinashi's, because at this point it feels like you're chasing it, doesn't it? 34.31 is where a daily stop loss level would be smart. Let's take a look at weeklies here. Obviously the weekly we're looking really strong. This thing also could just jump up to $50. You don't know with this damn thing. Look at all that volume, my God. Yeah, that's kind of a thing of beauty. Yeah, you could see it come down and then wick down, like once these moving averages get to this 31.51 level. So that would be a strong buy though if it hit that. I mean, I don't think I'd be able to help myself. I think I'd have to pick up some shares. But yeah, Palantir, it's a strong one. All right, let's take a look at Progressive, which is also a strong one. Insurance has been a great place to get financial exposure. As we know, all the rates are going up, so they're just going to be printing money. We are almost out of the GAN. And you can see this thing has just been tearing it up. Just absolutely, should be locked. Just absolutely tearing it up. It's going vertical is what it's doing. So, yeah, that's strong. Price target 274. I mean, I basically have to draw a new GAN box for this thing. We got through a lot of this stuff. If I go Heikinashi, you know, it's still just trucking along a good, and you can have a tight stop loss of like 244 now. And that's like a weekly Heikinashi stop loss. So yeah, Progressive, man. It's a beast. It is a beast. All right, let's take a look at TLT. This one is great for the rate cuts. If you're trying to play the rate cuts and the yield curve uninverted, which often signals recessions and that the rates are going down, like it's like kind of like a good place, safe place in my opinion to park your money. We are bumping our head on the GAN level of 101. But I could honestly see us just pushing right to like 102, maybe even 104, like in short order. This is weeklies. Let's take a look at Heikinashi's. So like a good stop loss level is like 98. I just don't see this trend reverting. I don't think we're going to see a downtrend in this. It's just a matter of like how good is the returns going to be on this. We're talking about bonds, but you know, if you want to add a little bit of bond exposure, I like TLT a lot for that. Let's take a look at the daily. So we had, and these are Heikinashi's still, we had a oopsie daisy, and then we popped back up and over that. So I think we're going to have continuation, and we should have continuation with the rate cuts upcoming. Next up is SOFI, and I have to brag. I do have to brag. I killed it on a SOFI trade again. I should probably trade SOFI more. So this is what happened on the daily here. I saw that we came down, and I knew that we had like ARC levels, that we had GAN levels here at like 675, 680. I bought at 682. I bought right here, ladies and gentlemen. And promptly within 3 days got like a 13% return. So it's a thing of beauty. I knew that this was not gonna, like, it was just a retest. There was no way it was gonna go much lower, and if it did, it was not gonna go much lower than that. So I get bullish at support. I like the Ichimoku, and I'll ride trends if it's like looks like a really safe trend to ride. But lately, I've been liking picking up at support levels, because then you can set like a tighter stop loss. It's just a less risky trade. But yeah, SOFI, you know, we got to get back up and over 791, $8, something like that. Take a look at this here real quick. So yeah, if we could pop back up over that $8, we'll pop the parabolic SAR and we'll be on a new uptrend. And from there, we're talking like 884 as the next. Yeah, we got the MACD crossover. SOFI's gonna keep your eye on SOFI. If you take nothing away from this video, next week could be big for SOFI. Sticking with the financials, we're gonna take a look at MasterCard. Taking a look at MasterCard. MasterCard's been kind of like, what does it want to do? It had a big day, and then it, but you know, on the daily Ichimoku, things are looking really great. Sure, I'm glad I picked them up. You know, picked some up here, and actually over here as well. I did. Yeah, I mean, this thing is, you know, as far as the GAN goes, I mean, we're talking. And by the way, this stock has done nothing all year. This is, you know, it started off like right here, and it's up 15% on the year, but like most of the year it's just did nothing. And I think that it's going to charge forward. And yeah, I mean, the ARC sits, you know, like by the time it gets there, probably like another 10% away. So that's good. Let's take a look at, see if we can find fib levels or anything else of import. We're overbought on the daily, and we do have a top pattern. So, you know, like 490, we don't want to get below 490, because that could get ugly. And we've had a really long, really good uptrend for a while now. So MasterCard, we might be at a top, temporary top for MasterCard. We did make a new high. Part of me thinks that we're going to stay overbought, and we're going to just flip this doji and make a much higher high, and then the downswing will retest these highs. I think that's what my gut tells me. But yeah, if we get under this like 491 level, it's going to be scary. I mean, we do have the 10-day, you know, but as far as Heikinashis go, that's foreboding. Let's take a look at the Heikinashis here. Yeah, but the Heikinashis, you know, like we would need to get under like 482 before I'm really concerned about it. And if I look at the weekly, I mean, we're looking strong. What is this? So this is a fib level at 490. Or it's not a fib level. This is the previous high. So yeah, we got to stay above 490. 490. That's your MasterCard number. Okay, next up is Shark Ninja, and this thing is a beast. Another stock I caught just at the right time. I kind of traded in and out of it, and then I just caught an absolute beast of a beast of a move, I should say. Yeah, this thing's breaking out of the box I drew for it. Once I saw this thing like just crushing, I bought in, and I think I got in at like 80 bucks, like right here. Because it was, yeah, I think on the daily I saw it happening. Yeah, it gapped up. Like it gapped up, and I was like, oh. So I like bought a bunch, and yeah, it's just been ripping. It based, it came up, it based, it rips, it bases, it rips, it bases. Could this thing come back down to retest 97.88? Absolutely. And would it be a buy there? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because this thing, the beauty of this stock is it's not old. Not old at all, and just look at the chart on this thing. It just, Wall Street doesn't know what to value this thing at. And I mean, it beats, double beats all the time. They keep coming out with like, this is Shark Ninja, so it's like the Shark vacuums, Ninja blenders, and everybody loves the products. So yeah, this thing is just like on a rip. Nobody's talking about it yet. Kind of like the people are just starting to talk about insurance companies. No one's talking about Shark Ninja. And if you like the consumer cyclical play or whatever, and this thing has been, while the rest of consumer goods have been sucking and going down, this thing's just been crushing. So yeah, I love me some Shark Ninja. It's a good one. Okay, Lockheed Martin. Let's talk about Lockheed Martin. You know, in case the world blows up, we're going to need bombs. So, did we close above Tengensen today? That is the question. I was watching this. You guys, did we do it? Oh my God, if I got to zoom in this bad, does it count? Oh my God, we're getting in there. We are getting in there. Yep, closed over it. It counts. It counts. Oh, here, let's go to that again. Okay, so yes, we did close over it. So yeah, I mean, this thing could get its next leg higher. It's just been grinding higher, grinding higher, grinding higher. Let's take a look at Heikinashis here. So we got our green here. You know, a good stop loss level would be 263, which is like a pretty tight stop loss. It's less than 1%. So that's kind of tempting to jump into. But do I think it'll outperform the NASDAQ? Maybe. So I don't know if I'm going to move, you know, allocate any funds to go overweight on it, but I do like what I'm seeing here. Let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly Heikinashis are looking pretty good. You know, you could set a weekly stop loss at 560, and that would be even more. 570 is what we're at. So that would be like a 1.62%. So yeah, Lockheed Martin is in a pretty good setup if you want some end of the world type of exposure for the just in case. Okay, let's talk about DoorDash. This is my newest position here. Dash. And yeah, this tells me, especially on the weekly, like we were going to go down, now we're going to go up, and we're probably going to get a nice upswing on DoorDash. That's what I'm kind of expecting. Usually when you get like red and then green on the weekly, like it tends to be good price action. And really, I mean, we just, I think the reason for it is we were hitting the GAN level at 128. But we closed above it strong, closed above all this stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think we're going to get We're going to attack these all-time highs again. And you do have support right here at 128, the Gann level. So I'm talking like 10%. We got to get above this angle. That's what I want to see. I want to get above the angle, hold it, get above this, and then it's time for Daddy to draw a new Gann box. But yeah, DoorDash, this is like, I like this better than Airbnb. They're kind of the same idea. Oh, look at this. And by the way, I mean, this thing was up so high once upon a time. Yeah, so we got, it's basing basically at this Gann level. It just needs to hold it. It might not. Oh yeah, and the weekly is really good volume. Yeah, I love it. I like DoorDash for the long term. It's 1% of my retirement account. It's nothing crazy. I like to set up my overall portfolio so that it's like as close to the S&P 500 NASDAQ allocation to like the Mag 7 stocks as I am comfortable. And then I will overweight, you know, like Eli Lilly or United Healthcare a little bit. Like I think they deserve to be in there. I'll overweight Netflix a little bit. And then, you know, I think it's like 50% of the S&P 500 is just other companies. And I will sort of, you know, go like, okay, 1% Palantir, 1% SOFI, 1% PayPal, 1% DoorDash, you know, and the bottom end of my portfolio, I'll pick my favorites. And, you know, I still get my decent diversification, but, you know, I can kind of say, I don't want anything to do with some of these other stocks, you know. Okay, cool. So let's talk about crypto. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about it. So Bitcoin, BTC, USD. Bitcoin got up and over Tenkan-sen on the weekly, but overall the Ichimoku doesn't look beautiful. But we did flip this weekly doji, so that's really good. So this could pull some and on good volume as well. So this is great news, and we retested this 52,646 perfectly. Look at that. Should have bought there, eh? Heikinashi candles. Yeah, it's red, but it's a flipping candle. And if I go to daily, I bet it looks probably pretty good. Yep, looks pretty good. So we have important levels at 62,000. We did get above the cloud and all that nonsense. So all of a sudden, and we got a higher low, we have like a triple bottom here. I mean, yeah, so we have a triple top, triple bottom. We're just kind of in a range. I think this thing will squeeze, man. It could squeeze. Like, hopefully we get our, you know, our cycle up. I think I would be concerned if this was the top, you know, because like the previous top was kind of in the same area, and that would be like a multi-year double top. That'd be really bad for crypto. So I want to see this thing bust back up and over and push higher. We got to get over 75K, but we have a lot of support here at 52.5. 52.5. You know, I'd be a buyer there. I'd be accumulating at that level. And really, like, we want to get above, to be, call it healthy, you know, next week, getting above 62.5. We want to see that happen. So yeah, Bitcoin looks pretty strong. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Look at Ethereum. Look at that. So Ethereum, you know, if you missed out on Bitcoin, Ethereum just closed above this Gann angle again. So if you see some decent price action, you could probably buy and then set your stop loss there. Heikinashis are turning green on the weekly. They're still kind of rough looking. So Ethereum's a little scarier of a trade, but like if Bitcoin's healthy, then, you know, Ethereum should be healthy. So if, yeah, I mean, Ethereum has a lot of catching up to do compared to Bitcoin. I mean, we're talking 58%, 63% if we can reclaim the all-time high. So it might make more sense to add a little to Ethereum here if you're, you know, doing the crypto thing. All right, let's take a look at XRP. I don't have a GAN box for XRP because like it's just kind of a weird chart. I should really like try to figure it out, but I mostly use Ichimoku for this, and the Ichimoku looks pretty good. I'm gonna guess Heikinashis are looking pretty good. They are, and you've got here. Hold on, XRP USD. You've got a pretty. Oh, I do have a GAN box. Okay, cool. You do have a good stop loss spot at like 54 cents. And I mean, it's only like 4%, so that's pretty good. Yeah, so you could see here this arc has been a problem, and the arc is going to sit right around 59.60 cents. So we got to break through 60 with some strength to call it safe. There's nothing safe about trading, disclaimer, but you know, I would not call this a buy yet. I want to see us get into this, get deep into this, retest it, and then I'd be buying. That's how I'd be playing any adds to XRP at this level. Dogecoin. No, we're below the downtrend line. I would not be kind of scared to do that. Although we do have support levels right here, like 9 cents. So I mean, if you can stomach a 10% loss or more, you know, you could try to pick up at low. You know, like if you're a buy and hold forever, this is actually a pretty good spot because you know we're right in this zone right here. So yeah, maybe take a little chunk out of Doge, you know, like know that you're not going to make any money on it anytime soon, and this thing could come back down to 5 cents. It's a meme coin after all. And you do have a major GAN level right here, like 12, 13 cents. So that's like kind of like a price target. All right. Wow. Thank you. If you've watched this entire video, I want to thank you so much. If you're not a subscriber, maybe consider becoming a subscriber. There's probably going to be an icon showing up asking you to subscribe. If you haven't hit that like button, if you could do it for me, it means so much to me. And question, comment. Comments are appreciated. If there is a stock you want me to take a look at next week, leave a comment below and I will take a look at that stock. But that's my weekly review. Thank you so much for stopping by. Risky Ryan out.